Moon and Sashi always sticking by my side. No villain's gonna stop.
Penn Zero, part-time hero.
Penn Zero, part-time hero. Penn Zero.
Hey guys, welcome to another Rascal Reviews. This time, Mama Entertainment is joining me for a review on Penn Zero, Part-Time Hero.
Hey guys. I love it.
Yes. So, this is a show we actually have finished quite some time ago. It was a Disney XD TV series that came on, I believe, about 2018, went off 2019, so it only lasted 2 seasons. And we got introduced to it from our good friend Bennett Dudley, who used it a lot in his videos, and we actually got to check it out when it was live, and we absolutely loved it. And what was even better is that the first episode was actually the Christmas special. And so Mama got to see it for the first time. And
I loved it.
Right, like, can we see that again? Like, we just finished it.
It was a perfect pilot.
Yes.
And everything about it, I loved it. The look of the characters, the style of the animation, the humor, the concept of just doing something different with something that we were familiar with. We're familiar with Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of took that concept and made it something bigger and more fun and more varied.
Right. So, the story of this series is that Penn is literally a part-time hero. And by that, it's not actually superhero per se, but his job is to take the place of other heroes in different dimensions. He goes in their place and helps them complete their missions and make sure things go right for them. And each dimension has their own thing, full of a certain themes. Like, you've had a North Pole Christmas dimension, you've had a cowboy dinosaur dimension, a super spy dimension, a dimension of nothing but kaijus, a dimension of cereal mascots, a dimension of plants, and it just keeps going. It's almost an infinite amount of universes, and his job is to make sure that their mission goes successfully. Like, something happens to them, he goes and I guess into the subconscious or something and finishes the mission for them to ensure that the world stays safe. And every episode is a different mission, and his job is also to save it from the enemy Ripon and his lovable minion Larry. And pretty much Ripon's job is to destroy that universe by becoming that villain and wreaking havoc and making everything fall apart. And then Penn kind of does the opposite and has to stop him from destroying that universe.
For some reason, I'm thinking when you say Ripon, I don't know why I'm thinking of Bandit. I'm seeing Bandit.
What? That'd be a weird one to go through. So, again, the show only lasted 2 seasons, and it had, I think, about almost full 52 episodes, because they fit a lot into 2 seasons. And there was also a change in the quality between the 2 seasons. The first one was phenomenal, and we loved almost every single episode they had. They even had one where it was a backstory on how Penn's parents got stuck in the most dangerous dimension ever. And of course, you know, a Christmas special, and even an episode on how Ripon became the part-time villain.
And Thomas Middleditch was perfect casting.
Right. And you also had Kimiko Glenn as, I think, Kabayashi, and you had Adam Levine as Boone. You had Alfred Molina as Ripon, who's a huge star. And they actually ended up having guest stars like Adam West and Henry Winkler and lots of big name stars in here too. And you were surprised they actually had this many.
And it was just fun. Every time they made a guest appearance, it was fun. I do remember in one dimension when they had guest star Kenny Loggins, and how you were saying it was a wasted opportunity.
Yes!
Because he never sang the theme song for Top Gun.
Right.
Because that was the whole parody.
Right.
But he never sang it.
Yes. It was called Top Dragon, and it was literally a dimension parodying Top Gun, and all the pilots were dragon flyers. That's it. And it was a great idea, but you wish they had played the song. Maybe they
Right.
they didn't have the rights, so they didn't want to pay for the license, so they just had him sing something about going to the top, and it made no sense. And there were so many worlds that ended up being our favorites.
Mm-hmm.
So much that they ended up reusing a lot of them the next season. And the only crux of that was that they didn't leave a lot of room to have new dimensions. A lot of them were just revisiting the same ones and having a different villain. And they were trying to build up to a climactic finale where they have to save all the universes before that became the standard thanks to Marvel.
Right. Definitely.
So, what were some of your favorite episodes? You don't have to even remember the name. You can just remember the dimensions they went into.
Yes, because that's your specialty.
Right.
Well, as you mentioned the Christmas one, the pilot episode is what I call it, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely loved it, and that's what got me hooked on wanting to see it. And I also love where they went to the plant dimension, and it was Nora.
Right.
I don't know why. I just thought that was a perfect combination. It was brilliant. It was so funny seeing these characters act out roles like they were in a Nora drama. And then I also loved the Jekyll and Hyde episode because for some reason I was fascinated with him going behind the dressing. What is it called?
The curtain, I guess.
It's
Yeah.
not a curtain, but okay. Behind the dressing curtain and coming out.
And no
It was
break.
instant.
Right. It's like, how do you change clothes? Oh, yes. I remember that was one of your favorites. When he would get angry, he would turn into the villain.
Right.
It was such a brilliant idea.
There were two villains.
Right.
But yes, I loved that episode. I loved how, as you said in season 1, they were all different. They were all standout. And a lot of times you were seeing ideas for episodes that hadn't been done on any animated show, Western animated show ever.
Right.
And they were brilliant ideas. And it's kind of like after that, maybe Disney got involved and said, hey, we're not going to pay you to write new ones. Just revisit the old ones. They won't know the difference.
They didn't even get to make ones they had in the intro. Some of those worlds never showed up in the series. It was kind of a letdown on that part.
And then they had one dimension, if I'm not mistaken, where they were all balls.
Yes! Balls!
Yeah.
And the name of the episode, balls! It's like, okay, who came up with this? It's like, no, it's not what you think. They were all sports balls.
And it was funny because they just rolled everywhere and they were talking balls, and that was
That's
funny.
it. It was like, okay. And my favorites, I think the three besides the Christmas one, and of course the one you mentioned with the Jekyll and Hyde. One would be one where everyone was a superhero.
Yes.
Because it was like pre-MHA. I absolutely love that. And Adam West was Captain Super Captain. Adam West was just being lovable as always. A second favorite would be where they had the cowboy dinosaur world, which Disney actually ended up turning into a real show for preschoolers. It's like, they should have jumped on that long before now, but made it for everybody because it's like, oh, why did you make it a preschool show? This should have been a show a long time ago. And the third one would be where they were all cereal mascots, and you had to stop the milkman, who was the villain. I just love that idea. All the mascots were in one world, and they had a cereal-based world. I don't know why. That just seemed like a brilliant idea to me.
And these are the type of writers and creators you would hope to have continued to see on Disney shows, because you had them for Randy Cunningham, Motor City, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, Wander Over Yonder. You can name the ones that were standout shows for Disney. It's unlike anything else.
Right.
And you knew they weren't Disney staff writers. These were other individuals.
Right.
And Penn Zero should have never been canceled.
Right. They kind of
should
just
have had
ended it.
At least the 4 seasons that they usually go max.
Yeah.
It would have been great. And if they didn't like the second season, or it's their fault, they should have let them go to other universes.
Right, because it looked like it was a little limited. Now, you didn't mind them going back to previous universes. It's just like you didn't want it to be majority of the second
You
season.
want to see more.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I love they went back to the superhero universe. Love they went back to the pirate world. They went back to quite a few, but it was half the season was just revisited worlds.
And they were looking for the Shai-Khan jewel.
Right. And the ones that were new, just, I don't know, they just weren't as creative as the first season. Like you said, they had one where they were all balls. That's it. And that was the whole joke. They were sports balls. The second one will be rock, paper, scissors universe. And everyone was rock or paper or scissor. And it was like, why?
And again, it was like Disney staff
It's like,
writers
what?
got involved. It's
And
like,
then-
we're going to take it away from you. Our staff writers are cheaper.
Right.
We'll come up with some more. Just like they did for Pokemon Sun and Moon.
Right? And then,
Rock. Pokemon Rock.
I gotta walk.
Pokemon Pale. Pokemon
Sand. And then another one where it was a world where Penn and Ribbon were Tom and Jerry, which sounded should have been good, but it was just Tom and Jerry.
Right.
Tom and Jerry, that was it. There was nothing to stand out. It was Tom and Jerry parody. And then one which was a letdown because of what they parodied. One was a reference to a 13 Ghosts movie.
Yeah.
And they were ghosts in the 70s in a hotel. And these different ghosts from different time periods were all in one hotel. And Ripon was like a ghostbuster. And they were trying to stop him from catching all the ghosts. Great idea.
Yeah.
But you didn't get enough time with the ghosts to see how far it could go. And besides, they parodied a horror movie on top of it. So they really couldn't do too much. It felt like the ones that were really good ideas, they kind of either didn't go all the way with, or they reused stuff, or they just had stuff that didn't stand out. And one that was the most disappointing of all, they had a Voltron universe. They were
Yeah.
all more transforming robots. They could be a giant robot, and they couldn't get it right until like the very end of the episode where they finally transformed. And it felt like they just didn't want to animate it, and it was a real
It's
letdown.
like a cop out.
And so,
Hey, let's just go ahead and mention this, and hey, that's enough. We don't
right.
have to really put any effort into
Right.
it. Hey, it's Voltron.
Right. So then you get to like the end of the series and it builds up into them saving all the universes, and that was probably
Like Voltron.
right. And it actually ended up being a really great episode, really great finale. However, the way it ends, it feels like there could have been more because it looks like that's the end of being part-time hero, but they kind of have a hint like there could be more, or as my Heroes Central was saying, it could be connected to other Disney worlds because they actually had a hint in some other shows where they were hopping towards different Disney Channel shows and they could all be connected in a certain way, and Penn Zero was just the beginning. Unfortunately, it was never touched on anymore and they just kind of let the show alone.
Kind of like the Disney universe game.
Right. And it was a great idea, and you wish there was more because the way it ended looks like that's pretty much going to be it. Like, if they had the 4 seasons, they could have visited so many more worlds, had more adventures, flesh out the story even more, because it felt like the big story plot ones were dedicated to one episode at a time for a full 30 minutes. There was no time to mix as much as you could because they were getting towards the end.
Right. One character we failed to mention, how dare you, was Phyllis.
Oh, duh, yes,
Yeah.
the ones that send them to the other dimensions. And she was pretty fun. She
Yes.
was snarky, but she was fun.
Yes, how could we forget Phyllis? So, in the second season, they also cut down on her sarcasm and her snarkiness.
He was just
It
kind of
was
jump.
different.
Yeah, they
It's
just
like
kind
they
of.
softened her, like she was becoming more of a mother figure, and it's like,
No, it doesn't work.
right.
And they started cutting out how long they were in the worlds. They would just snap and they would be in the worlds. You didn't even get to see what led them up to being in that universe. Will be the conflict of the day. It just kind of, they're there and then it ends and they leave and they don't show what happened before and after. Like they were just trying to hurry it up. Just show the adventure and be done.
Absolutely.
But all in all, it was still a great TV show. I wish it was longer. I wish they had on DVD to rewatch
I was
over
gonna
and
say that.
over
I wish it was on
again.
DVD,
It was
yes.
Thomas Millage's best role ever, and I just really wish there was more to the show and having more to deal with because it was one of Disney's and Disney XD's best shows they ever made.
Definitely. And I miss it. And yes, they're putting other things on DVD. Put Penn Zero. It seems like with Disney, a lot of shows that you really love don't see the light of day on DVD. Not even being able to purchase it digitally, you just lose out.
Right. So if you've seen Penn Zero, Part-Time Hero, let us know what you think of it in the comments below. If you haven't, go watch it. However you can, it's definitely worth a watch.
And that's one of the catchiest hooks in a theme song
Right.
ever. You just saying Penn Zero, Part-Time Hero.
Right.
I will go around the house just saying it over and over.
Right.
For no reason.
Right.
It's just so catchy.
So thank you so much for joining me today, Mama.
Thank you for having me, especially for Penn Zero.
Yes. So, make sure to go to SoFab's channel. You're going to love all the stuff she has, from reviews to health videos, hacks, spoofs, and even some introspective videos as well.
Yes, come on over. Look forward to seeing you.
Thank you so much for watching Rascal Entertainment.
And Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.